What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB playoffs Thursday, October 8th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, MLB playoffs. Let's take a look at this 4-game main slate. At the pitcher position, I like Frankie Montas with a huge pitching advantage here versus the Houston Astros. Frankie Montas, he pitches 14% better to righty batters, giving up a .612 OPS versus righties. And he's facing 6 righties here tonight. On top of that, the Astros have only hit 36 of his last 127 pitches, batting a .283 batting average. He's $8,100 FanDuel salary and $500 more on DraftKings. Now, he does have an ERA of 5.60. His record is 3-5 on the season, and he's pitching an average of 83 pitches per game. But he's averaging 20 fantasy points per game, and he scored 15, 61, and 6 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So you can see he has a wide range of outcomes, but he's got a lot of upside. So I like Frankie Montas here versus the Houston Astros. Okay, let's take a look at the first base position. I like Luke Voit with a 31% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Ryan Thompson. Luke Voit is batting 8% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .922 OPS versus righties. And Ryan Thompson throws his worst ball versus righty batters, 23% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .794 OPS versus righties. Luke Voit is 2 for 4 with a 1 OPS versus Thompson, and he's $3,900 FanDuel salary and $1,300 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 14 fantasy points per game on the season. He's projected at 15.3 fantasy points here tonight, and he's due for a big game, so I like Luke Voit here versus Ryan Thompson. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I'm going to give you a value play here. I like Chris Taylor batting against Adrian Morejon. Chris Taylor is batting a .777 OPS versus lefties. In Adrian Morejon, he's giving up a .995 OPS versus righties. Now, Chris Taylor is 0 for 1. It's a small sample size, but he's only $2,800 FanDuel salary and $1,300 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 0, 9, and 9 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 13.2 fantasy points here today. So I like Chris Taylor here versus Adrian Morejon.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, who do we have at the third base position? I like Gio Urshela with a 36% batting advantage over that low salary pitcher, Ryan Thompson. Gio Urshela is batting 13% better versus righty pitchers. He's batting a .895 OPS versus righties. And Ryan Thompson, we know he pitches his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .794 OPS versus righties. Gio is 2 for 2 with a 2.5 OPS versus Thompson, and he's 3,100 FanDuel salary and 1,200 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season, scoring 0, 6, and 6 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's projected at 13.4 fantasy points here tonight. This may be one of my favorite plays on the slate, so I like Gio Urshela here versus Ryan Thompson. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I like Gleyber Torres with a 20% batting advantage over that same low salary pitcher, Ryan Thompson. I think it's a good idea to stack some righty batters versus Ryan Thompson here today. And Gleyber Torres, he's batting a .793 OPS versus righties. We know Ryan Thompson throws his worst ball versus righties, and Torres is 1 for 3 with a .666 OPS versus Thompson. He's 3,000 FanDuel salary and 900 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 3, 6, and 12 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 12.7 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Gleyber Torres here versus Ryan Thompson. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Randy Arozarena. With an 86% batting advantage over Jordan Montgomery. Randy is batting 37% better versus lefty pitchers. He's batting a 1.323 OPS versus lefties. And Jordan Montgomery throws 48% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a 1.077 OPS versus righties. Randy is 1 for 1 with a 5 OPS because that one hit was for a home run. He's 3,400 FanDuel salary and 400 more on DraftKings. He's averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season, and he's been on fire, scoring 31, 22, and 28 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 16.8 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Randy here versus Jordan Montgomery.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this MLB slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.